Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, taking a look at the Grim Workshop subscription for September 2024. This subscription costs $20 a month. For that, they send you a USA-made Bushcraft Survival EDC cards in the form factor of a credit card, dog tag, or medallion. So let's dive right in, see what they sent over for September 2024, starting with the tip cards as usual. So up first we have Traveling Straight, which is number 24-100. The top half of this card is focused on identifying your dominant leg, which is really important for those that don't know. Everyone has a dominant leg and we all tend to stray in that direction over longer distances. In short-term navigation, it's usually pretty inconsequential, but over long distances, you can veer way off course. So being aware of which direction you're veering off course can be very helpful. Even knowing that you have that dominant leg, you're still going to do it, so it's unavoidable. But the second half of the lower half of this card is focused on realigning yourself when navigating. So really important stuff. This is valued at $1.85, and unlike previous tip cards in the series, this one actually doesn't have anything on the back. We have a logo with the website, which is a little bit of a letdown. I definitely prefer additional information here. We already get the business card that has all of their contact details, don't need it on these, where I'd rather just stuff as much information as possible. Now, giving them a benefit of the doubt, maybe Traveling Straight doesn't have information that they wanted to put or felt relevant to put on the back. I would definitely prefer even a different theme, but something complementary, something like a navigating theme, like reading a map or reading a compass and navigating with the compass, that sort of thing on the back of the card. Wasn't the case here. I would definitely prefer that, but still valued at $1.85. And I still prefer these over the booklets because they're a little bit more durable, they're tear-proof, they're weather resistant, and they're extremely small, take up almost no space in your wallet. And we still do get two as usual. So next up we have the Fishing Limb Line Trap, number 24-101. The next one in this new series, great illustration on how to set that up, step-by-step imagery on how to set it up and what it should look like at the end. Flipping over to the back though, same thing, just that logo and the website. So this one, it really feels like we could have benefited from the additional context. Typically on this type of card, we'd have the illustration on one side, step-by-step instructions on the other, maybe information of when this type of trap is more useful than using another type of trap, for instance, and even on how to tie the different knots that you need to set this trap up. And so it definitely feels like it's lacking a little bit of context, but what can you do? Again, valued at $1.85. Since this is a new series, I would imagine that's going to be the case going forward. So in future videos, I probably will not harp on that so much, although I may point it out, but just thought it was worth kind of going in a little bit more detail since that is a new thing for these tip cards. Typically the double-sided cards are actually double-sided with info. Now onto the tools. Usually we'll get a full-size tool as well as 1 to 2 mini tools. Usually we get 2 if it's like a micro tool, but this month we got the dog tag for the smaller tool, and so just the one, and that's the Fisherman's Tool. This I actually think is really cool. Pretty sure it's a new one. I don't think I've seen this one before, but the reason I think it's so cool is most of the time when we get fishing stuff, it's focused on catching the fish, not what you do pre or post catch. Sometimes it'll have those kind of supplementary tools on there, but this one's really focused only on that pre and post catch. So you have the scaler on the left side next to the hook sharpener, the gut hook, your hook removal tool, as well as the eye cleaner. So really nice layout on the dog tag style tool, and have the card here if you want to pause and read along. Really just kind of summarizes all of the different tools that are on here, but feel free to pause if you want to read that. I'm not actually going to read through it. With the dog tag tools, you always get a silencer as well as these ball chain, keychain, and necklace, so you get both of those. And the silencer works on about 2 to 3 of the dog tag tools. I typically only ever put 2, and I'll just put them back to back. The reason for that is it gets really tight, especially if one of them has a silencer. It is very difficult to get 3 into that silencer, so it's better to just use it with 2 and then get another silencer. You can put as many silencers as you want on those ball chain necklaces, so that's not an issue. And that's just a preference thing, because I know once I get 3 into that silencer, it's so difficult to get them in that I probably won't want to remove it. So just kind of for my own peace of mind, I stick with 2 of them. Now that one's valued at $9.50. Up next we have the full-size tool, which this month is the Spool Card. Pretty sure this is another new one, and a really interesting and unique combination, kind of a new design to the spool cards. We've seen spool cards before, but this one's a little bit different in that you can see these notches across the top and bottom that really segment this out into 3 distinct segments of spool. And so each one has tools that correspond with the type of cordage you're supposed to spool in that section. So Here on the left, that first third, we have the snare trap triggers, and this you would put with trapping line or just your regular general use cordage. Up next, you have the repair kit with the sewing needle and the button, so you would put some thread here so you can use that for sewing. And then that last segment has the hooks and the lures, so you can put some fishing line around there and really have line appropriate for each of those tools. The card itself, I think, is very cool, very different. The tools on it are all very repetitive, all stuff we've seen from other cards. Most of the main cards have trap triggers and fishing hooks, and some of them have the repair stuff as well. So nothing new tool wise, but I do like this layout a lot better than anything we've seen for these tools in the past. So I think that's really cool, valued at $19.95. And once again, if you want to pause and read through this card, it basically just summarizes what I just pointed out previously, but feel free to pause here and do so. But that's all of our cards for the month. Overall values, I think around $34, which is pretty typical. Usually December is highest month value wise because they'll throw in some extra tools and maybe even an ornament the last 2 years. And so that one's usually the biggest. Most of them are around this valuation, within $1 or $2 of $34, $35. And so decent value for that $20. And again, I think some really useful tools, especially if you haven't been subscribed for a long time. I've been subscribed for a couple years, so you get a lot of redundancy over time. It's just kind of inevitable. There's different formats of the same different tools, but for new subscribers, I think this is a really solid month. And again, hopefully in the future we'll see some backs on those tip cards, but I'm not counting on it since we're in a brand new series, and most likely they were all printed at the same time, so we're probably stuck with those at least for the next several months. But let me know what you think of this month's down in the comments. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. If you're interested in picking this one up, I'll throw an affiliate link down in the description that will help you out, or help me out, help the channel out at no additional cost to you. But again, no pressure to use it if you're thinking about subscribing anyway. It definitely helps out though. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.